For many people, in fact for the majority of even the leaders, 1.5 degrees centigrade, 2 degrees centigrade, the difference is only 0.5 degrees centigrade, looks to be an absolutely trivial matter. Because even a day's temperature, any day's temperature in a year can vary more than 3, 4 or even 8 degrees centigrade, depending on where you are located. So why at all such kind of small 0.5 degrees centigrade or even 1.5 or 2 degrees centigrade matters? Here it matters because we are talking about the average Earth's temperature, which is the temperature of the atmosphere, temperature of the oceans on the Earth, and we are comparing those average temperatures to what it existed before the Industrial Revolution in the middle of 18th century. So it is not a day temperature. The variability is not from the morning to evening or in the night, but the variability is from decades to decades, from the Industrial Revolution to the present time. And those are extremely serious. And this was made evident again. And why I say again, because up till now we had about 5 assessment reports. 5 assessment reports of IPCC telling us how this rise of temperature will make a total difference to the way the world lives and what the future of this world is. 6th assessment of IPCC reports is on the way. It probably will be released in a couple of months' times. But they have come out ahead of that. There is a special report called as 1.5 degrees centigrade rise. What does it include? It includes what is called as shocking news. And that shocking news is whatever we estimated to be the impacts on the way this humanity lives on the earth is underestimated. 1.5 degrees centigrade will cause devastation. What it says is we already have crossed 1 degree centigrade rise. And if not crossed, at least we are reaching to that 1 degree centigrade. So we are only left with 0.5 degree centigrade rise, which the report says will happen in 12 years' time. Up till now, the whole humanity, and particularly the leaders, well, most of the leaders are in, even if you take the young leaders, they are in the 40s, and probably the old ones are in 70s and 80s. We always thought that these impacts will be seen in the end of 21st century or maybe somewhere in the 22nd century. But now when we talk about 12 degrees centigrade, we are talking about 0.5 degrees centigrade rise in 12 years' time. That means it is in our lifetime. It's in everybody's lifetime. So people have got shaken. It's not something which is century apart. It is just 12 years apart. And what does it say? It will talks about the droughts, the threats to the food security. It talks about the floods. It talks about the hurricanes and the extreme event frequency and intensity increasing. And it also talks about the impact on poor people, the impact on small island countries, the impact on poor countries who are going to suffer the most. And as we know, the rich countries are very few. The percentage of population in this on this earth which are rich, which probably can survive few more years because of their economic power, are in minority. The majority will suffer of 1.5 degrees centigrade rise. The report also goes on describing in very detail the impacts difference between 1.5 degrees centigrade rise and 2 degrees centigrade. The Paris Climate Agreement has the objective of limiting the temperature of 2 degrees centigrade. It does say that we will all make efforts to limit it to 1.5. But the basic objective is to keep to 2 degrees centigrade. The 2 degrees centigrade rise, the report says, is already a dark area. We are entering into uncertain area and we are unable to predict the results of that. those results could be irreversible. What it means is, when the temperature rise goes beyond 2 degrees centigrade, even if you take action, it will be of no use. What has happened is irreversible. You cannot reverse it again. Second thing, what it says is, even if you use the modern technologies like solar, wind, geothermal, or even carbon storage in earth, it will not be of any help to us. And the real threatening thing is the Paris Climate Agreement, where all the countries, all the 197 countries in the world have given a promises of reducing the fossil fuel emissions. Those pledges will take the temperature to 3.5 degrees centigrade. 3.5 degrees centigrade, probably, knowing what the IPCC report says, that 3.5 degrees centigrade rise of temperature will lead us to the 6th extinction of the life on the earth. We are not talking about no humanity. We are not talking about any animals disappearing. We are talking about the life on the earth. We are talking about the biodiversity, the trees, the plants, flora and fauna. They are all disappearing. And we are really entering into what is called as totally uncertain estimates. We don't know what is going to happen and how fast it will happen as we go beyond 2 degrees centigrade. And what is typically called as a runaway reaction, that we won't be able to even control it. Forget about irreversibility. We are not able to even control it. And those kind of scenarios are described in the IPCC report, which definitely calls for the action. The trouble is, such kind of reports have come in the past as well. Last 2 decades, we have been hearing of those reports. We are hearing political leaders telling us that action is needed. We have been hearing that on an international platform, in a national policies, during the elections, and at various fora, but no action is being taken. So the question is whether this particular 1.5 degrees centigrade IPCC report, will it result into action?